If you want to start selling businesses, whether you have a license or not, you could do novations, you could do creative things, all legal, of course, and you can get into selling businesses, buildings, properties.
Are you trying to figure out how to make money on wholesaling businesses or listing businesses on the market? Well, we just completed a transaction on a liquor store and the real estate where there was also beef jerky included, and we had the help of my dad, John, to be able to figure out this deal. So let's break down on how we were able to find this deal, who was able to be the connector and bring this to the table for us to make money.
Yeah, well, it was my friend Bill, who's a fellow investor who I have wholesale properties to. Great guy. He called me out of the blue. He wanted me to partner with him. He's close to retired. And we went over to the property. We got it under contract. And I was a strong advisor on telling them I want this to be sold on a seller finance / land contract deal. At the beginning, they didn't really see the vision, but I knew it was for the best. And that's what it ended up being. We ended up getting, it wasn't easy. Went to the store numerous times, took a bunch of phone calls. Then we finally got a buyer who wanted to buy the liquor store and the property and then have the first right of refusal for the beef jerky. How do you guys find the deal is you walk into every store you walk into, whether you're out there door knocking or just going to grab a soda, find out who the owner is, ask them if they're interested in selling, see what the price is, call Justin Pickle, or if you know someone to buy it, make it happen. If you want to start selling businesses, whether you have a license or not, you could do novations, you could do creative things, all legal, of course, and you can get into selling businesses, buildings, properties.
So with this transaction, you haven't mentioned it yet, but Bill owned a store close nearby this one a while back. So since he had familiarity, he actually was the guy who went inside the store. All right, so that's why they need to consider every time they walk into the store, are you selling this business? Because you miss 100% of the questions.
Shots you don't take. So that's the key to it all. Ask and you will receive. And if your intentions are there and they're good intentions, you evaluate, you research, you ask, and you see if you can provide benefit and help solve people's problems.
All right, so you were able to get this property started and listed at 1.7 million. So before you were able to get it listed though, there are some key information points that you needed to gather from the seller and communicate about before proceeding on the transaction, and how did you evaluate it?
Great question. Absolutely, we did. It goes right down to 3 years of tax returns and then really breaking down where the money's coming in. So they had about $800,000 a year coming in off beef jerky sales. They had another $1 million or so in sales from their subs, their chicken, the liquor store, the beer and wine, and a little bit of their rental properties in the back with the pole barn. So it's the understanding of the details that's going to help you understand why the property is worth what it is, and why we sold it for the 1.3, not the 1.7, but without the jerky store. And if you heard that correctly, there was about $800,000 to $900,000 a year in jerky sales.
But they didn't want anything to do with that?
They didn't want anything to do with that because of all the work involved in the daily grind of doing beef jerky until maybe they had some people in place and really mastered it themselves. And that's what's up. So if you're hunting down businesses, you need the tax returns, you need the breakdown of where the money's coming in. If you're a newbie, you may just want to say, hey, your partners who are experienced in this world would be happy to get on a phone call with you or a Zoom and go over the things you need and evaluate your business to see what we can pay you, whether it's cash or finance or realtor work, novation work that Justin can handle nationwide. So
really anyone could do a transaction like this anywhere around the world.
100% around the country. Around the world's another story. I haven't got down to the legalities of all that, especially with businesses, but pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, if there's a business, they can do it anywhere in their country, maybe not in the US, but they can figure out how to do this anywhere. Just like how we were speaking to Jamil on how he was selling houses in Canada, and it was called a nominee, and in America it's called a signing. So it could be the same different things in hundreds of different countries around the world.
100%. Just like the land contract, executory contract, and contract for deed. Bunch of synonymous things that all mean the same, which may confuse a newbie, but stay in the understanding that, we're all built the same and we all are born knowing nothing, and you got to continuously be willing to learn and live by the ABG model, which is
always be growing, because we never want to stay the same. So ABG, keep that in your brain. So I was wondering, for everyone watching this video, can we give out some free value here of where they can review the tax returns of potentially the balance sheet of the assets they held or liabilities, so they can evaluate it for when they come across a business and see what it actually looks like?
100%. You know, you want to look at the net operating income. That's the take-home income after all the expenses, which wasn't super high, but if you really understand businesses, you see that they were paying themselves a good salary. They were paying for their vehicles through the business. They were paying their son through the business who really didn't work that much. So there's a lot of things that go with businesses where you can really make profit. But for you guys, you want to be able to understand all the details on why a business is worth what it is if you're going to take it on to sell it with us or with anyone else.
Yeah, so if you want to review something like that, check the link below, and we'll have all those documents for you to review to see how they were getting paid out on this transaction, see the numbers of the actual cash flow without the beef jerky business, for why it actually made sense for this investor. I'm curious. He bought it for 1.3 million, right? And it was a land contract. So what were the exact terms of the land contract? The down payment, the monthly, the interest rate, a balloon, amortization. How did the structure look on this deal?
It was $500,000 down. I'll tell you that much. They had to pay $78,000 in commission.
Wow.
6%, 3% to me, 3% to my partner Bill. So they got about $422,000. They bought a beautiful property in Florida that they're Airbnb now. They were happy that it went down this way because they didn't have to pay the taxes and the capital gains. They also got another couple $100,000 for their inventory, so that was also their money. The interest rate, I believe, was 7%. I don't remember the exact payment. I believe the balloon was 10 years. So these are the things that that he's asking about that can vary, and you want to keep an open mind towards, because day one, when I mentioned the land contract, the seller really wasn't interested. I kind of had a one-track mind that this was going to be a seller finance deal. Not that I would have turned away a bank deal, but I felt it was going to be a little bit tougher that way because it was a little bit rural, not totally rural. There was 15,000 people in the town. There was a plant there, but I felt it was going to be a bigger headache, and I love seller finance and land contracts and creative finance deals. So I had my heart and mind set on it. We got the perfect buyer. They were very credible. They already owned another business. It was a gas station, a successful one. So everything's going great. And we're leaving the door open to one day buy into the jerky business and take it nationwide. So we'll keep you posted on that. You just got to always keep an open mind and understand that you can turn a grape into a watermelon.
100%. So great things do take time. So since you got it listed, how long did it take to the final point where you and the great guy Bill, who helped you find this deal, to make $39,000 each? It
took about 4 months to start to get this buyer under contract, maybe 5, and then another 3 months or so dealing with the lawyer paperwork, the commission, the liquor license, all these different things that took a little time. But Bill, with his experience in commercial, really knew at the point in these store businesses, because he sold a lot of them, that once you get that contract signed, the deal's in the lawyer's hands. And we pretty much stepped back and got involved only when needed. And then, of course, when it was time to pick up the check.
Okay. So 8 months of time, I'd say that's about how much a month if you divide that?
Well, you can't really divide it just by that because you're working on other stuff overall. So if that was the only project, I'd understand where you're coming from. So that would be $5,000 a month, So at the end of the day, it was probably a $2,000 an hour job, 40 hours in to make, or 20 hours in to make almost 40,000.
So 8 months, 20 to 40 hours, you're saying, to make 40,000. It's a pretty beautiful thing what you're able to do while you were still working tens of other projects, making other money, but you were letting the big hitter beef jerky, liquor store, real estate business be able to still be in the back burner to sell eventually, still taking in all the calls that came in a timely manner and handle this deal.
100%. I also built up about 20 go-to buyers who are looking for stores, gas stations, all around the Michigan area, Indiana, Ohio. So again, bring us your deals. We'll get them sold quick, and we'll partner up. You'll make money, we'll make money, and you'll also learn.
So hopefully you learned some stuff in this video for you to actually take action. And if you got some value out of it where other people may be able to find businesses with us and we can all collaborate and grow together, share this with another person, and we will stop letting the private equity companies take over buying businesses, and we'll let regular people all around the world and just in America buy these businesses or wholesale them or list them like John.
Become owners, guys. Owners Club. See you on the next one.